If you're a fan of How to Train Your Dragon, then you know that the world of Berk is home to some of the most powerful and awe-inspiring dragons ever imagined. From the lightning-fast Night Fury to the monstrous Red Death, each dragon brings something unique to the battlefield. But which one truly stands above the rest? Today, we're counting down the 10 most powerful dragons in the entire How to Train Your Dragon universe. Let's start with number 10, the Screaming Death. The least powerful dragon in the list is the Screaming Death. This dragon is like a whispering death that's pumped up to 11. First appearing in Defenders of Berk, the Screaming Death made quite an entrance. I mean, a giant albino version of an already terrifying dragon? Sign me up! What makes the Screaming Death so formidable is its combination of abilities. It's got the Whispering Death's ability to tunnel through solid rock, but on a much larger scale. It can literally burrow through an entire island. And then there's its scream, that disorienting shriek that can stun both humans and dragons. It's like a sonic weapon. But what I find really interesting about the Screaming Death is its intelligence and memory. Remember how it recognized Hiccup and the riders even after a long time? And the way it was searching for its mother? It shows that even this seemingly mindless destruction machine has complex emotions and motivations. The Screaming Death's character arc across the series is actually pretty amazing. It goes from this unstoppable force of destruction to an ally of sorts. It really showcases the How to Train Your Dragon theme of understanding and coexistence. Number 9, the Drago's Bewilderbeast. Next up, this massive dragon introduced in How to Train Your Dragon 2 is a perfect example of how even the most powerful creatures can be twisted by cruelty and abuse. The Bewilderbeast is already an incredibly powerful dragon. It's enormous, can breathe ice instead of fire, and has the ability to control other dragons with its mind. But in the hands of someone like Drago Bloodfist, it becomes a weapon of mass destruction. What really gets me about Drago's Bewilderbeast is the contrast between it and Volka's Wildebeest. They're the same species, but they couldn't be more different. Volka's is this benevolent protector creating a safe haven for dragons. Drago's is a conqueror, forced to subjugate other dragons against its will. The battle between the two Bewilderbeasts is one of the most epic scenes in the entire franchise. It's like watching two kaiju go at it, but with the added complexity of their ability to control other dragons. The way they create and destroy massive ice structures during their fight is just mind-blowing. But what really breaks my heart is the look in Drago's Bewilderbeast's eyes. There's this sadness there, like it knows what it's doing is wrong, but it can't stop. It drives home the message that there are no bad dragons, just bad people who misuse them. Number 8, the Fireworm Queen. 8th on the list, first appearing in Race to Fireworm Island, the Fireworm Queen quickly established herself as one of the most unique and powerful dragons in the series. I mean, this dragon can heat up her skin to temperatures hotter than lava. That's insane. What really fascinates me about the Fireworm Queen is her dual nature. On one hand, she is this incredibly dangerous dragon that can melt metal just by touching it. On the other hand, she has this amazing ability to heal other dragons with her venom. Remember when she saved Hookfang? That episode had me on the edge of my seat. And let's not forget about her ability to control an entire swarm of fireworms. It's like she's the mind of a hive, detecting hundreds of tiny burning dragons. The visual of a swarm of fireworms moving together is both beautiful and terrifying. One of the coolest things about the Fireworm Queen is her bioluminescence. The way she glows in dark caves is just stunning. It's not just pretty either, it's a form of communication. She uses it to signal her swarm and even to warn off potential threats. Number 7, the Crimson Goregutter. Now, let's show some love to one of the newer additions to the How to Train Your Dragon family, the Crimson Goregutter. Introduced in How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World, the Crimson Goregutter instantly captured my heart. It's this massive dragon with these incredibly antler-like horns, but despite its intimidating appearance, it's actually a big softie. What I love about the Crimson Goregutter is how it subverts expectations. You see this huge, powerful dragon, and you think it's going to be a fierce warrior, but instead, it's gentle and almost playful. It really embodies the How to Train Your Dragon theme of not judging by appearances. But don't let its gentle nature fool you. When it needs to, the Crimson Goregutter can be a powerhouse. Those antlers aren't just for show, they can smash through stone and buildings like they're made of sand, and its size alone makes it a formidable ally in a fight. One of my favorite moments is when the Crimson Goregutter helps defend Berk. Seeing this massive dragon charge into battle using its antlers to toss enemies aside was epic. It really showed how even the gentlest giants can be fierce protectors when their friends are in danger. Number 6, the Typhoomerang. Alright, let's switch gears and talk about one of the most visually stunning dragons in the entire franchise, the the Typhoomerang. First introduced as the adorable baby Torch in the Terrible Twos, the Typhoomerang quickly became a fan favorite, and when we saw Torch's mom, holy Odin, that was a moment. The Typhoomerang's signature move is its ability to spin while breathing fire, creating this amazing spiral of flames. It's not just for show either. This attack can clear entire forests. The scorch marks they leave behind last for decades, which is just mind-blowing. But here's what I really love about Typhoomerangs. They're surprisingly agile for their size. The way they can maneuver through forests and around obstacles while spinning is incredible. It's like watching a fiery ballet in the sky, and let's not forget about their intelligence. Remember how Torch recognized Hiccup and the gang years later? Typhoomerangs have long memories and seem to form strong bonds. Oh, and here's a cool tidbit. Typhoomerangs are actually migratory dragons. They follow specific routes each year, which explains why Torch had to leave in the first place. Number 5, the Shellfire. If the Submaripper is the submarine of the dragon world, the Shellfire is definitely the battleship. This dragon takes long-range attack to a whole new level. First appearing in Shell Shock, the Shellfire quickly became one of my favorite dragons. I mean, come on, it's a dragon that can lob fireballs over incredible distances with pinpoint accuracy. We're talking miles here. It's like a living fire-breathing howitzer. But what really gets me about the Shellfire is its design. It's got this amazing shell-like armor that can withstand direct hits from other dragons' fire, and those catapult-like structures on its back? Pure genius. It's like nature decided to evolve its own warship. The Shellfire really shines as a siege weapon. Remember how the dragon hunters used it to attack Dragon's Edge from a safe distance? It was nearly unstoppable. The only way to counter it was to get up close, which is super dangerous given its size and power. Number 4, the Submaripper. Where do we even start with the Submaripper? This beast is like the stuff of sailors' nightmares come to life. First seen in Dragon's Race to the Edge, this massive tidal-class dragon is basically the Kraken of the How to Train Your Dragon world. Picture this, you're sailing along, minding your own Viking business, when suddenly the sea starts to churn. Before you know it, your ship is caught in a whirlpool strong enough to drag you down to Aegir's Hall. That's the Submaripper's signature move, and it's terrifying. But here's the really cool and scary part. The Submaripper doesn't just create whirlpools, it can also shoot powerful jets of water from its blowhole strong enough to blast other dragons right out of the sky. Talk about a dragon that can ruin your day whether you're in the air or on the sea. Remember that episode Dire Straits? The way the Submaripper was toying with the dragon riders, creating chaos in the shipping lanes? It really showed how a single dragon could potentially control entire trade routes. No wonder Vigo wanted to use it as a weapon. Let's talk about its design for a sec. Those massive jaws lined with teeth, perfect for crushing ship hulls like they're made of paper? The Submaripper is basically a perfect fusion of a whale and a dragon built for underwater domination. Number 3, the Red Death. Speaking of big dragons, we can't forget about the Red Death. This thing is like the final boss of a video game that you are not prepared for. It's got armor for days, can swallow Vikings whole, yikes, and its fire breath, forget about it. Remember that scene where it's chasing Hiccup and Toothless through the sea stacks? The way those huge rock formations were just crumbling as the Red Death plowed through them? That's when you really get a sense of its insane size and power. It's like a mountain decided to grow wings and breathe fire. But it's not just about raw power with the Red Death. This dragon's got some tricks up its scaly sleeve. For one, it's got 6 eyes. 6! That's like 360-degree vision right there. Good luck trying to sneak up on this bad boy. And those eyes aren't just for show, they're incredibly keen. Remember how quickly it spotted Hiccup and Toothless in the clouds? That's some serious visual acuity. The Red Death really represents everything the Vikings feared about the dragons before Hiccup changed their perspective. It's huge, terrifying, seemingly unstoppable, and utterly alien in its behavior, but its defeat also marks a turning point in the story. It shows that even the most fearsome dragon can be overcome with courage, intelligence, and teamwork. Number 2, the Bewilderbeasts. Now let's talk about the absolute units of the dragon world, the Bewilderbeasts. These guys are like the Professor X of dragons, but with ice powers. Imagine you're just a regular old dragon minding your own business when suddenly this massive ice-breathing behemoth shows up and is like, you work for me now. That's the Bewilderbeast for you. We see 2 of these bad boys in the second movie, and holy Odin's beard, their battle is epic. They're creating and destroying entire ice structures like it's nothing, and let's not forget, these dragons can control other dragons with their minds. Talk about OP, but what really gets me is how gentle they can be despite their size. Vulca's Bewilderbeast created this amazing sanctuary for dragons. It's like, yeah, I could conquer the world, but I'd rather make a nice home for my dragon buddies. And finally, number 1, the Night Fury. Let's finish things off with the absolute goat of How to Train Your Dragon dragons. Last but not least, the Night Fury. I mean, come on, Toothless is basically the face of the franchise for a reason. These guys are like the stealth bombers of the dragon world. The Night Fury, with Toothless as its prime example, stands at the pinnacle of dragon power and rarity in the How to Train Your Dragon universe. Often referred to as the unholy offspring of lightning and death itself in Viking lore, the Night Fury embodies a perfect blend of speed, stealth, and firepower. You can't see him, you can't hear him, and then bam! Plasma blast right to the face! But here's the thing that makes Night Furies truly epic. They're wicked smart, like scary smart. Remember how quickly Toothless figured out Hiccup's tail fin designs? Or how he can understand complex situations and even mimic human expressions? That's not just good animation, that's straight up dragon genius right there. And don't even get me started on their speed. Breaking the sound barrier? Check. Pulling off impossible aerial maneuvers? Double check. That scene in the first movie where Hiccup and Toothless are weaving through those sea stacks? I must have rewatched that 100 times trying to figure out how they didn't crash. But you know what's really cool about Night Furies? They might be the last of their kind. Can you imagine being Hiccup and realizing you're not just training a dragon, but potentially saving an entire species? Mind-blowing stuff. And there you have it, the 10 most powerful dragons from How to Train Your Dragon. From fierce alphas to unstoppable forces of nature, these creatures have left their mark not only on Berk, but in the hearts of fans around the world. Which dragon is your favorite? Do you agree with our ranking, or do you think another dragon deserves the top spot? Let us know in the comments below. See ya! Bye!